a blender, a double blaze lifts you higher. And salt in the dark, whisper in the night, light your fire. In a world of blocks everywhere you see, without these tools you're lost at sea. And solves are here, makes modeling swift. Without it you're stuck, missing the lift.
So this is one of those days where I wake up and I have all the computer issues, which is my least favorite day. Just, oh my god, guys. I'm telling you, if you catch me in a video in a bad mood, just know that the computer is probably a factor. I hate computers, guys. I hate computers. Like, I'm going to become a traditional sculptor. And I'm just clicking around inside of nflow with my UV layout, just seeing what UVs I'm getting. I mean, obviously, these UVs are literal garbage. Alright, but we're just trying to jump through just a quick level 1 unwrap of this, and then we'll jump back and be more obsessive with unwrapping. Now, I'm not an unwrap master by any means, guys, at all. Even though I've done tutorials about it, I'm just saying, hey, I just do my best. I just do my best. So let's do what our best is today. Also, working on the opposite side of the mirror, I keep reporting that as a bug, which makes me look freaking dumb. Like, seriously, I hate reporting bugs that are so obviously not related to us that it makes me look dumb, but that is one that keeps getting me. So just a word to the wise, watch yourself when you're working with your mirror modifier, because it can trick you. And I'm thinking about how can that be solved, because you know what, am I going to die being Looney Tunes by the mirror mod like forever? That's just my destiny. So I'm just clicking and control clicking. Let me turn on keystrokes. Sorry, I'm totally distracted and frazzled. All right, so I shouldn't even be doing tutorials. My mental state isn't there, but we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. All right, because it's fun. It's fun to work in a variety of mental states that are incompatible with modeling, right? Because I've been trying to tell you guys, like, hey, get up, exercise. Get up and exercise. Like, it's key. You know, you'll wonder why everybody will always be like, hey, exercise. I never got it either. But to be better at modeling, you must be fit of body and mind. And to me, I'm actually really into the part where I see how my mind improves as a result of me, quote unquote, purifying my body. It feels very nice, you know, to survive a very long jog and think, wow, I shouldn't have done that. Which is also something that comes up in modeling all the time. In modeling, I'm like, hey, I shouldn't have done that. And, you know, in case I didn't talk about it previously, I always think about the mental blender, right? Like, in my head, there's a blender that is, like, actually way better than this blender. But, all right, we want to unwrap. I forgot my config, but, hey, it comes back to me real fast. Even though it's been the weekend, and I've been, like, lounging, right? Like, I was hanging out with some friends. We were playing freaking Mario on the NES Classic Collection. And, you know, everybody was having a good time. And I was like, this is living. You know, just everyone you care about nearby playing Mario. And, I mean, hey, some of those levels were actually hard. So, you know, because it was the Nintendo Championship Edition. So, yeah, it got pretty difficult, and seeing everybody hang in there, I was like, wow, this is human resilience. You know, they looked at me like, wow, you think so little of us, but I mean, look, Excite Bike on Nintendo was just not a fun game. Like, I kept trying to tell stories about how, you know, I would trade games with people on other blocks. Me and my friends and family, we would be trying to trade these games, and we'd end up with, like, crappers, like, terrible games. Like, you ever traded games with some neighbors that ended up with Gyromite or Hogan's Alley? You're probably thinking, no, Hogan's Alley's fire, so is Gyromite. Look, unsubscribe. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I can't make a joke here. Also, look at me about to go try to work on the look, and it almost highlights, but it's not. It's highlighting the other side. I know, and you're like, why are you working on a mirror? It's like, hey, have to work, have to trouble. And also, I do want to exercise before it gets hot. Like, here where I live in Texas, yo, it gets so hot that it's like scary. It's like scary how hot it gets. But And I'll be talking to friends I know, and they're like, you know, I'm thinking about exercising in the fall. I'm like, you're thinking about getting healthy later? Later. You're getting healthy, you know. I just attack excuses everywhere I hear them. Um, and I'm unfortunately expecting the same of you guys. Like, you know, everyday developments, you know, everyday developments, always working towards a goal. My goal every day is to wake up and attain a goal, to achieve something, something small, insignificant, but, you know, it's just important, guys, to just achieve something, you know. Hey, I was about to say, even if it's evil, but I shouldn't say that. People would be like, yeah, I got evil goals now. No, come on. Life's so short. You know, if you're hate watching me, please hate model, okay? Hate model better. Like, that's why I'm on here being a goofball and describing how I suck in the comments. Like, hey, show me how it's done. It's lonely out here, slowly modeling, alright? And we're just modeling, waiting for the apocalypse. And, you know, I'm looking at this thinking, like, paper craft thoughts. Like, how do I get it to unwrap like paper? I know. I suck at UVing. Watch. We're going to select this piece and just unwrap it because, I mean, what shape is that, really? And we'll unwrap, UV display, and look at this baby. You know, we could stand for UV window being better. I love the UV editor window, just saying. Every time I see it, I'm eternally grateful that it's alive. Because it should be dead, and it was supposed to. I double looped it like that. Come on. Amateur hour. Um, you know, the feeling of being able to simplify this to anything different than what it was. Um, if it has no value to you, I understand. I understand because I'm a weirdo. But hey, that has immense value to me. I'm like, hey, I'm UVing like a stranger. I can get in here, press U. I can UV display just like that, or I could just Control Shift click and just unwrap. Look at it just real fast. Like, it's no big deal. However you choose to do it, you're right. Like, you're absolutely right, bro. So let's get in here, and I'm just looking at this thing. It's just like, you know, UV display does need to only show selected. You know, seeing it all just isn't going to work for me. But I bet there's a F9 for it because the hypothetical me in the past was more on the ball. Even though ever since I quit smoking cigarettes, it like completely ruined my brain, guys. Like, cigarettes are the worst. Like, when I see people smoking cigarettes, I'm like, oh wow, that's a demon you have no idea. It's a demon that feels good at the time, and then when you're fighting it, it's like the worst demon you ever fought. It's like, the heck, cigarettes be appearing in your reality, and that happened to me for the longest time. You know what? I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, just big old holes. Big old holes means that I'm probably gonna need to use Packmaster, right? Like, because I just can't have. It's hard to have big old holes in your UVs. Like, I'm gonna move on. Except I was about to assign it through Alt M, and they're like, "Hey, here's how you assign your material. What material? Material UV." And that's a testimonial right there. Because look, I literally want to give it a few days because I'm experimenting with the element of loss. Like, what if I'm, you know, I'm pretending like I'm my own someone else's config, right? Like, let's pretend some other guy's like, yo, I made a config. This is the material UV meta, and then I'm testing it. Like, this might come with the next update. It'll just be a config called UV. Like, it sucks, and if you install it, you're gonna think, hey, this sucks. I can make it better. And if you make it better, let me in on it. But, you know, as I see more people saying like, yo, I'm using this with this and I'm using it this way, like, it does give me more insight to things we can start doing in the next update. So with install being, you know, somewhat stable, unless people keep selecting multiple objects and going into edit mode. Like, I did not know that was such a thing. I did not know that was such a thing. Look, I'm kind of old school with Blender, so I wasn't like familiar that. I mean, I am familiar with it. I just wasn't familiar that people were doing it so much. Everybody just you know what? These UVs look rotated. And I don't know, I'm kind of OCD, but I mean, why they rotate it like that? Like, I mean, they just rotate it. Like, I mean, look, fine. There ain't even an option to make them not rotated, but, you know, and I guess the mesh is kind of rotated too, so what am I saying, right? What am I saying? I'm just a guy in a video UVing. And I mean, do I UV that? No. We're going to walk away, pretend it didn't happen. And I mean, I'm going to have to use like a myriad of UV tools to deal with this, like UV squares probably, and that one that deals with aspect ratio. Like I also got Zen UVs, which I've never used. It's just because UVing such a crazy arena, guys. Like hard surface and Boolean modifiers is an arena, right? Like it's like a mosh pit. Everybody's in there, willing to kill. All right, and I'm on the wrong side. You know, bingo card. Look, we have to deal with that visually because the way I like to work, I like to have the mesh kind of real with mirror, never with subdivision. You know, I got problems there. I just can't look at it. The loopy, droopy mesh, like, it just makes me sad. So, we are going to just keep on modeling. It's totally like 6 in the morning. My favorite time. This is like the ghosting hour, guys. Like, one day I'm going to be doing content and then be telling y'all like stories, like of my terrible sci-fi. So that way y'all can really unsubscribe from me because... But I mean, not like good plans. They're just like plans, like boring plans. Like I was like, what the hell's this edge doing here? You know, I shouldn't be having to clean up a little bit of geometry, but you know, I was pretty determined to survive getting this thing converted because I mean, look at it. It's terrible. This is like Satan's asset. All right. And that's funny. That is to me a type of funniness. Like, but I mean, also the tool is supposed to start out being very hard. Like, I mean, this job is not easy. So I mean, to all the people who are grabbing this at the beginning of your 3D journey, what's wrong with you? All right, go do this 10,000 times. All right, and that was also the pitch for hard ops. Like, hey, if you don't get us, just go do it 10,000 times. Just pop the old modifier panel out, and I mean, what you'll do, ideally, if you're a sane, rational person, is you'll start to be like, Blender, change this, and then Blender will say, maybe. No, I'm playing, but it does kind of happen. Like, I mean, that's literally what made me start even getting curious in add-ons. It was like, wait, Blender could be better for my needs. As a result, there are multiplex of tools aimed to deal with your needs as well. But, you know, when I look at it and I see all the options, like I think, wow, we sure deal with a lot of needs. And that's good. It's good to please people. People are hard to please. And, you know, the messages of happiness, you know, they also matter because I get so caught up with the, I get so, fucking computer, come on, get your shit. What the hell is this? Alright, sorry. Computer's pranking me. Look, it's not even ready for the material yet. We're still over here getting intimate with this freaking mesh. Like, look at this mesh. Like, how do you talk about a mesh like this? And it's like, why am I doing this on YouTube? Why am I not doing this in a course or something? It's like, look, to me, this is partially basic knowledge, except to convey it, I now need a Genova level vehicle, like a massive planetary structure able to traverse the universe that we will call Insol for now. But I mean, look, the things I imagine are like beyond this application. Like, I'm like, maybe there's a Windows program that could. Sorry, I gotta say Windows, guys. I don't like Windows. All right, Windows. Like, I tried to switch over to Linux, but there are so many complications, guys. Like, look, it's not even Linux related, but look, if there's no iTunes and I can't rate music and I can't manage my iTunes library, look, and there's some Linux guy in the comment saying like, yeah, you can do it with Linux tunes. You know, you just go get it. It's an open app. It has been updated 15 years. Sorry, I'm just making Linux jokes here. But Linux is totally scary. I mean, you go to a website and they're like, hey, this is how you download it. It's like, what? What is this? You're like, put it together and find out. Look, that's scary. That's scary. I always brag about how I failed college because, people have no hope or belief in themselves. And that part is like a benefit in my eyes out of a negative that I get to say, like, hey, you can fail, but I mean, you also got to work hard. I mean, like, if you fail college that hard, you also have to work equivalently hard. That's the way. Not the way to do it, but I mean, whenever people are like, yo, I'm going to college, I'm like, what's that? I don't even talk to them, like, if you're going to college, like, I try to stay away from you. Like, if you're graduating high school, like, hey, you got to stay away from me because I'm going to maybe talk you out of it. Be like, listen, you ever thought about how society works? Because it's all held together by strings, and, those strings are what creates opportunity, Like, I talk to people all the time about opportunity and how to make money, and that always is what it comes down to. I'm like, do you ever notice the strings of society? And I mean, what else are we going to talk about while we're UVing, guys, except the strings of society? And I'm just joking, of course, but that is how you maneuver around. Is there are strings in society, and I mean they're everywhere. One of my favorite examples is owl pellets. You're like, owl pellets? Yeah, in schools you have to disassemble owl pellets. It's a thing here for some reason, and selling owl pellets, making mad money. There's like, look, Amazon's a whole nother talk. That I'm part of the Amazon universe, not as like I'm selling products there, but I stalk Amazon because Amazon is freaking nuts, you guys. But is selling owl pellets. Amazon can't replace. What are they gonna do? Harvest owls? They just can't. And that's why it's funny. It's just this glitch in the system, guys. Like, usually Amazon, like, and this isn't to discourage you from working with Amazon, by the way. It just means you have to work fast and smart if you're working with Amazon, right? Like, look, Amazon will turn you into an Amazon Basics pack immediately, bro. And you have to work inside of that system. You can either use it for controversy to leverage it into basically making more money, right? If you were like dealing with Amazon, like, and this just shows like I want to try to do something that correlates to how 3D can connect to other industries and how you can at least think more dynamically. Because I mean, sure, it's all doom and gloom, and everybody's like, "Yo, where them game dev jobs at?" And I'm like, "Gee, hey, didn't they just throw you all out?" Look, we were admiring the marathon trailer the other day, like on the Discord. Yo, I will rewatch that trailer 5 times. It's a trailer. It's like 2 minutes. Yo, I'll rewatch it right now. That trailer is so beautiful. And look, me defaulting to the classic, because it's early in the morning, right? But look, that marathon trailer is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. But I think they fired everybody, and if they did, they should be brought before Congress and put in a disintegrator. Look, I'm not. Look, I know that sounds terrible, but look, what they're doing to gaming is so terrible, guys. Like, it's so bad that I'm about to become a gaming channel because, like, it is nuts. Like, and it's gonna happen everywhere. Like, and I don't want that. I don't. I care about history. I care about history. I'm obsessed with history. All the jokes I want to omit, they're about history because history. What I have down there, I do not want. But, I have to do it again because that's the easiest way to do it, right? And I should have shift be an additive version, right? Like, when am I going to learn, right? So, we're going to learn this morning. We're going to take loop select. We're going to duplicate the command because we're in simple mode. We're going to put it on shift. We're going to choose to make it, first of all, it's already under add, so it should be additive. Let's see if we have it. So we have loop select. So loop select is just kind of cruel. Let's double check our select that we're using here. Select edge loops. Let's grab this one. And there we go. So, we're just a little cruel there, but, let's see what we're looking at. Multi-select loops. All right, we're cooking. We're cooking this morning. Jesse, we're cooking. Sorry. I always do TV references, and people just don't even get what I'm talking about. I be making them too, guys. Like, that's how lonely I am in my life, is I'm making TV references. But, look, I'm preparing still to get the rake trials prepared. I just want it to be right, because, hey, the first level has to be a level that I accept. And it is a difficult journey. It's a difficult journey. That's why you got to be really tough. Got to be tough to work with me. I mean, just saying. Like, I'm not a military man or anything. I'm just, we got to get these goals, guys. Got to get these goals in this lifetime. And no matter what. No matter what. Look, I need to jump over into face mode to select this. Why was that hard? First of all, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm popping my wrist out like a diva while I'm saying this. What am I doing? What am I doing, guys? All right, sorry. All right, look. We are going to add a mode for face select because what are we doing here? We're in this mode. We're pressing L. L is select link. So if we go under select, we have select linked, and we should just look for the one that is L. That's the one we want. We don't want some weird one, which that one's probably cool too. Not hating on it. I never press Control L, so I don't know who you are. You know what? We're gonna just go into the config, guys. Look, I was planning on doing a tutorial. Where I was trying to do a tutorial based on the Aliens movie, right? And I was going to use someone else's tool, like one of the competitors, right? I was going to use Fluent, but I couldn't get it to work on my system, so it really made me sad. So I mean, I could have used Box. God dang, my computer is falling apart right now. Like I'm telling you, I'm getting errors over on the side, errors, it's terrible. All right, let's search for L. What is L, right? The mystery of L with MX2. I keep wanting to call myself the other name, but look, I don't deserve that name, guys. I'm not a master. Look, there's adjusting the Hard Ops logo. Love it. But we want to scroll down, and we're looking for, 3D window, really. Here we go. L, select link, and it is select link. Ooh, not armature, though. Hey, let's not talk about that ever. Mesh select link pick. We're just going to try to grab that, and I don't think it'll work like that. Life's not that good, and life is that good. Alright, so we are just grabbing things out of the key config, and, we're just grabbing them, alright? And we're grabbing them in face mode. We're in face mode as our drop-off mode, so it's like, yo, you faced me? It's like, yeah, I did. Bam, face it. Look, you got problems in your life? You got problems, you selecting loops? That's fine. You got to select one loop. Got to select 2 loops, that's fine. You got to unmark it, that's good. You got to mark it, good. All right. You need to grab an entire face region. Now, Shift H to isolate it would be the next level, right? So we should control click a face to do that, to basically hide the invert. We're just getting weird this morning, okay? That's all I'm doing. I've been meaning to stress test nflow more and to go into the UV realm. But the thing about UV realm is just like the Boolean realm, everyone's a bunch of cats. So if I do anything UV related, I will get destroyed. All right. So what is Shift H? Let's bring up the config again. Look, I don't want to battle people. All right. I'm just a dude. All right. Like people are like, no, but you're this dude. I'm like, shh, hey, that's not even a picture of me. That guy looks better than me. All right. Anyways, I'm just making jokes here. All right. Hide selected. Is it Shift H? Okay, hide unselected. So we want to Shift H hide, but unselected. So let's just keep that in mind. So we're just being weird. All right, we're weird. It's early in the morning. My girlfriend's asleep. She's gonna wake up and be like, "I heard you making a bunch of racket. Shut up." That's life, guys. That is love. All right, we call that love around here. We're gonna control, and let's look at our operator arguments, and we're gonna make unselected to be. What was it in the config? I actually wasn't paying attention. Problem in my life makes people mad. Look, I need technology to show subtitles on a pair of eyeglasses, and when I have that, I will be so happy, guys. Look, I have it with the Vision Pro, but people don't like you wearing the Vision Pro whenever you're talking to them. All right, they are like, please take that off. I'm like, no, dude, look, I'm seriously in your world. They're like, yeah, I could tell your eyeballs are looking at me. Let's look at this. So we're like, yo, Bam. Oh, that's actually too powerful. All right, we go back. We say, you know what? We want to actually use the additive, and that'll make us good enough. And bam. And now we can get in here and actually get to work. All right. And we can stop pressing as many keys. Like, we're pressing a lot of keys there, and, you know, I should watch. We are going to add a system to make that a little bit more apparent. We tried to, I was going to do it in hops, and also the systems that I'm talking about, they aren't going to work out. All right. I'm just letting y'all know in advance, because Blender has, like, bugs. They got bugs that I don't understand because I'm a dummy, okay? And these bugs are going to cut my dream short. And that's like, yo, that's terrible. I'm not going to buy this tool. No, come on. First of all, hear me out. It's part of the hilarity, all right? It's part of the hilarity. Like, look, Blender will either get better or it won't. But it doesn't matter, because Blender is Blender, and you know what you signed up for when you downloaded a free program, all right? So, not even saying that in a bad way, but look, I love Blender. I love Blender. It's so weird of a program. Like, it's so weird. Like, I hate that they got rid of the logic thing for playing with the bricks and making the characters. Like, hey, that was dope back in the day. Like, look, when I was in a call center, I used to have a thing where I would model a little dude, just like the Blender cookie tutorial, because it was GOAT back in the day. And then you would just put an armature on him, make him walk around. And I think it was like David Ward. Like, I love David Ward. Like, if I ever could play a game with him, you know, I would. See me, can't sculpt people, but I am willing to give it a shot, you know. And also, these UVs are kind of not making me happy. Like, look, this does not bring me joy. This just doesn't. Look, let's try it again. Let's see it. Bam. Okay, that brings me joy. I'm in joy now. Okay, better. But, you know, these settings won't work on the next thing. Make sure to keep that in mind. So we look at that, you know, those both work. You know, I would re-UV them, but, you know, might risk messing up our babies here. You know, what would be cool is to be able to repack it inside of 3D view with UV commands, where we select over in another window and we do stuff. But look, what I just said is a massive scope jump, like 4 times. Like, someone would hear that and be like, hey. And look, also, actually, no, these UVs, do we want to have it be non-continuous like that? And also, Subdivision is having just this way with our UVs. Like, look at this. That's what we got. Like, that's a little better, but you know, if you gotta look, I'm sorry to say this, you have to look at this like a serial killer. If you were cutting this up and sticking this into you don't have to be a serial killer about UVs, but kind of, you know, you're sticking this in a manila envelope, and I mean, how good of a manila envelope? I mean, look, it's like nothing to buy a slightly bigger manila envelope. So look, let's undo that. Okay, let's do that again. We select link, and then we control click, and we will just unmark, and I'll press shift tilde to select boundary, and we'll control click, and let's go ahead and oh god, let's try it one more time. Angle paste. Let's look at this, and that is better. That's better, at least to me. I don't like what I'm looking at there, but hey, this part is actually really small. But I didn't like what I was looking at before, so I don't know. Maybe someone will say, hey, the other way was right, the other way was wrong. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. Look, I'm willing to admit it. That's what I'm saying. I was wrong, guys, about those UVs before. Like I said, look, you're watching me UV this because you're just seeing what we offer when it comes to just UVing. Totally out of scope, by the way, guys. Like, hey, this thing was made to do retopology, literally to do retopology. But I was like, wait a minute. Let me back up to the part where you can put any command in there. Can I play with that? It's like, how long you need to play with it? Forever? Like eternity? That's the product now? What do you mean you can plug any command into anything? Like, hey, let me try that. Alright. Let me try that. Because I was more obsessed with, hey, can we get some toggles for turning off the holo display so I can get some work done? But, you know, once we put toggles, we also realized that, you know, much more could be done. Much more could be done. So, I see two camps of people. I see a lot of people that are just really digging the install side of things, and that is beautiful. That is beautiful because it is very simple, and that is beautiful. And then I see people who are like, "Yo, what you do with this inflow? What is this? What is this?" It's like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, guys. That's, you know what? I don't want to talk about it. That's it. But I am very proud of it. I mean, it's just because of the struggles, guys. Like, I go through so many struggles. Like, I'm telling y'all, it's a struggle just for me to have dinner dates with friends. Like, without me telling them, hey, you're blocking my blender, bro. You're blocking my blender. Like, you ever heard of cock blocking in the club? Like, I have blender blocking. It's like, dude, the fact you even have me in a club blocks my blender. Like, hey, I don't want to fight you, but look, man's got to blend, all right? Like, look, there's people out there addicted to other things, but look, I am addicted to blending, all right? It's just so great. It's just so great. Like, I feel like there's these hurdles in 3D, and one of them is mastering your 3D program. Once you've mastered your 3D program of choice, hey, time to get to work. Like, once you know how to use all your functions, you've read your manual, what do you do next? Well, hey, get the cube, get the cube, get the cube, and turn it into something violently not a cube. All right, like, look, I miss the cube stuff. Like, I want to go back to it. I do want to go back to it, but I talk about comfort modeling, and I just can't. I can't be in comfort, guys. Like, I will die in comfort. You know, like, I want to push it. I want to push it, and I want to make it a journey with you guys. I keep hovering over the keyboard, just about to press a hotkey because, why not? Why not? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I press one of these delicious little hotkeys? Just so delicious, so low calories, right? Like, they're like powdered donuts, except powdered donuts are not low calories. You should not eat powdered donuts at this time in society, all right? Like, I have so many people that are like, yo, got the beaties, bro. It's like, damn, you gonna do something about it? They're like, yeah, I'm gonna take shots. I'm like, oh dang. Real talk, guys. We got to be strong. We got to get strong. And, like, I am trying to beat everything. That's why I'm exercising. Like, look, I'm not telling y'all I'm out there like a gazelle. I'm telling y'all I'm out there like a loser. All right. People are like wanting to call the police on me and call ambulances when they see me. They're like, hey, there's a guy dying and ranting at his watch about 3D modeling ideas. He's dying and talking about 3D modeling. Like, look, hey, where I go exercise, they literally put up a sign of like a neighborhood watch in the area because they thought I wasn't from the area. So, like, when I saw the sign, I thought it was mad offensive. It's like, dang, you know what? We got some problems here. Problems that we can't just let go. So what do? Well, I'm going to bring in another configuration. Which one? Which config should we use? That's what I'm thinking about here. We'll hold down the plus. You know what? Let's just use the defaults. And so we jump over to Topo Tool. And I am like, yo, I made this for retopology, but now I'm using it to just do a few corrections. And that is because once you put the knife in a config, you're done. Like, I was so stressed that this tool almost released without a knife. Like, I was like, yo, you are trolling me. Because a tool without a knife means it could be killed by a knife. Literally, a good knife would literally be able to kill it. And even right now, we don't have a proper knife. We just have like a basic knife that just plugs in. It's just Blender's knife, which is fine. But every great topo tool has its own contribution to knife, and I'm obsessed with that. I mean, you also cannot be obsessed with it and just not care about, trying to add to the lore of knife. But, that lore isn't join. Join is also just join. It's just Blender's lightning bolt. It's just so lovely. It should be made more accessible. That's it. So we basically did what we needed to do, and you just saw me jump into another config, just load it up out of the ether, and just set up a subpar topology system here, which, hey, it was getting late. It was getting so late. And also, this gun is more than I bargained for. And that is the fun part. That is the fun part. Like, I'm hoping that more people in this community are like, hey, hopefully, and look, what's going to happen is no one will, because I'm a crazy madman. I probably said something that was mean, and I'm over, guys. Like, I'm not even probably invited to the conference no more, which is good because I'm freaking introvert. I'll stay home and play Nintendo games, but I'm kidding, of course. Ton would love to beat me up in the bathroom, all right? And hey, I'm not saying I got a fetish, but I'd take it. I'd be like, Ton, Daddy, I'm here. Hey, he'd clothesline me, all right? He'd clothesline me. I'm just saying, he'd clothesline me. These are things I joke about with my friends. I'm like, hey, what if he took me to the restroom and just literally just beat me up, like was slamming my head into a toilet? It would just be hilarious, but not really hilarious. That would actually be terrible. I still need my face. Look, my girlfriend likes it, even though random strangers on the street don't whenever I'm super exhausted and wiped out. But no, I'm just running a little experimental Blender humor. Like, I'm like working on some different stuff now where I'm just trying to use more Blender terms in this hypothetical universe that I've been talking about. Like, so I'm not giving it up. I'm just, it's almost work time, guys. It's time to get back to work. Like, I mean, I've been working this whole time, and I'm going to continue to try to do daily content, but there's the real work. The real work. Like, I have a plan for nflow. I want it to get there. I want it to get there. And if it gets there, it will look very good. There. I think there's a old quote in a car. Man, I was going to do some assets from Aeon Flux. Like, look, I want to do like a bunch of like deep cut assets because like the world is like forgetting things, and like they're like, yo, this thing existed. Like, hey, people are like, yo, I was born during the age of the PS3. I'm like, does that make you illegal to be around? But no, people are like growing up with game consoles that are like, yo, the PS3 was pretty fire as a game console, but hey, those graphics were freaking terrible, alright? And that's what I remember about the PS3. So when a kid's like, hey, I grew up with the PS3, I'm like, ew, dude, were you playing Resistance Fall of Man? It's like, yeah. It's like, dang, dude, that game's kind of muddy, dude. It's just muddy. Like, look, I love the game, but the game's like so muddy, you can't even, there's no amount of memory berries that'll make it edible. So I'm not talking smack. I'm just saying, like, hey, the PS3 was trying to use some really throwed filters, like, and I'm just saying it only because, like, I've been trying to play Armored Core 5 Verdict Day, and the game just is so muddy and nuts. Like, it's massive. The game is so ambitious, and no one cared about it. But it looks so good. Like, I have to beat it. Like, I have to be an Armored Core-ologist. That way I can talk to the Armored Core people and join their community. Otherwise, I'm just an outsider, and that's not cool. Like, when you get in the community, you get into it all the way. All right. Blender is like basically what I call my base universe, but I'm telling you, other universes, other MXs, I just be lurking. I just be watching stuff. But anyways, if you got owls in your area, hey, there's a market for that. I mean, not anymore. People are going to start, everything gets fake. Like, I get tricked by fake stuff all the time, all right? And it sucks. It sucks so bad. Like, sometimes my eye will get bigger than my belly, and I will basically trick myself. And these are terrible things when it happens, but also they are kind of funny. You got to be able to laugh at things, otherwise people are laughing at you. So, I mean, hey, you can't make fun of me harder than I make fun of me. Like, I look at my old videos and I'm like, man, I can't believe I did this. Wow. This is hilarious because, on the internet, there's like, I don't even want to talk about the figures that I'll start getting you guys watch down rabbit holes of like crazy stuff. But look, we were talking about Final Fantasy House the other day, which is a fun thing to search, where just a bunch of people were really, really into Final Fantasy. Because look, I know a lot of people really into Final Fantasy, but they're not that into Final Fantasy. I mean, they have tattoos of it, and I consider that to be possibly, the universe changes all the time, and it's all weird. And it's not like they ever revisit any, or, they remade Final Fantasy VIII, and what did they do with that? They just like put some sort of filter on it, like, hey, why did they do Final Fantasy VIII like that? They better not do Final Fantasy IX like that. All right. While I'm talking about Final Fantasy, like, look, they did Final Fantasy IX. It's just a filter. Look, no, you do it right. You do it right, because we need to see all those beautiful moments of Final Fantasy VIII. Like, that game made me giddy when I was a little kid. Like, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe video games can do this. And that's what I want to try to connect with people on. Like, hey, what inspires you to become a 3D artist? Like, that should be what drives you. That should be what drives you. Look, the world needs you to give up. The world needs you to give up on everything, like to just lay down the sword. But you know what's the battlefield is covered in swords. And I need to use these swords. I need to use these swords, and I'd like to show you guys how I would use these swords as a not intelligent person to basically make something, I don't know. My thought is, how do I create something lasting, right? I sound like these two robots from Casher that I was just watching because I have obsessions with the show still. All these shows, some of them I have associated with people, right? Like I watched them with people in the past, and because they're not around anymore, I still have the shows and I have the memories, and you just watch a show over and over for that. But I had an interesting experience yesterday where someone was hanging out, and they were like, hey, I want to play some Tetris. I was like, okay. And I fired up the Tetris, right? I turned on the game, got the controller out. I was like, yeah, Tetris. Hey, this person's making my day. We're about to Tetris. They're like, no, not this Tetris. The board game. I was like, the board game? Because I have a board game of Tetris, right? Of course I do, because I love Tetris. I was like, the board game? That isn't Tetris. They were like, it is to me. And man, the whole game of Tetris, I hung on that. Like, it was just something this dude's girlfriend said. I was like, to her, it's Tetris. She was talking about anxiety with the blocks, I think, or a joke was made about it. I was like, anxiety with the blocks? Tetris is only anxiety with the blocks. Managing the blocks is how you manage your life. You balance these dang blocks. But, not being cruel, but it was just a very interesting thought, that to think that, that is their version of Tetris, and that, I was possibly being a Tetris gatekeeper, which is bad. Don't want to do that, But also, it's just, wow, that's her Tetris. Like, I'm just looking at this thinking, how can this unlock like a puzzle in a video game? I mean, hey, what the F is this part, guys? Like, look, these are the parts of Satan, and revisiting them on a UV level. Look, all I want to do is paint this gun like Marathon and talk about Marathon and watch Marathon trailers with you guys. Look, this is a lot of work for freaking Marathon. I should just jump to Marathon. But look, that Marathon trailer, hey, that thing messed me up physically, alright? Like, you watch a trailer and then all of a sudden you have to lie down. Like, and you have to keep lying down. Like, and you're watching a trailer lying down. Like, that is how hard Marathon hit. Like, I just wonder who makes these decisions to shut this down. Like, what is Sony betting on? Like, I see all the game companies leaning towards video games becoming movies, and look, I don't think that's going to last very long, because video games weren't like necessarily having the greatest plots. And I mean, even now, video games don't really have the best plots, even with all this great value, right? That is in these games. Like, it's not my favorite writing. That's why I'm trying to do writing, because I think I could write funnier stories than some of these video games I play. That I'm just like, this game left me feeling dirty in the mouth. You ever played a game that made you feel that way? No, I'm playing. Bobby. So let us just unwrap and UV display, and this thing unwrapped like a I don't even know the word for that. We're just going to UV display. you know what? Let's look at this in the U. You know what? Actually, I know these UVs are freaking garbage. Um, we can do a little bit better than that. And I mean, this gun is super duper scary. All right, it's scary. Like what I'm looking at scares me. I'm like, what have I done? What have I signed up for? What have I signed the world up for? But I look at it like doing the right thing, making everyone model correct again. That would be the final thing, right? Make everybody model. First of all, booleans are not bad. Stopping at just booleans is probably very bad. All right, I never meant to say that. All right, I just meant that's a good place to end the tutorial. Okay, that's a good place to end the tutorial. Not that's a good place to. Never mind. I'm about to start making cancelable jokes. All right, but yeah, that's where you're supposed to just end the tutorial, not where you're supposed to end your career. All right, so let's get it together and model right. You know, model right when we got to model right. We got to model right to first of all. You got to prove you can model right. If you're doing a portfolio, fill it with assets showing that you can model right. Like, come on. And also, don't do all the tropes. Like, look, I love all the directors and portfolio managers who are like, yo, I look at these portfolios and they're filled with these BS tropes and they suck. Hey, I love that. Like, those are the best tips. And I think they hurt people's feelings or something. But, look, that is the medicine the world needs. Like, originality is fleeting, guys. Like, and I'm saying, like, look, we can be that, guys. We have to transcend. Like, I'm not saying we have to, you know. I saw people saying like that they were digging the whole, you know. Also, why am I doing it like this? I could just bring myself a freaking UV editor window over here, and this song is playing. Banger. Hey, look, I was so anti-A. Hey, both sets of these are like not good to me. And we will re-unwrap it once we apply the mirror. So we don't want to get too committed, but we are definitely getting somewhere. In fact, let's look at what we had again, and then let's unwrap that, and we got something a little bit appropriate. I mean, at least I can show my mother these UVs, versus before I could only show my father these UVs, and that's because he doesn't care about 3D, as you know. Like, I'm gonna call him though. I'm gonna call him today. I'll be like, listen, Dad, I UV'd it. He's gonna be like, you what? Hey. And then he's gonna, I'm supposed to actually be visiting my family more, but instead I am working, and Netflix just charged me, which means I have to watch Netflix. Every time Netflix charges me, I'm like, I have to watch. Also, is this thing like scale applied or what? Like, all right, it is. I gotta watch it. You gotta watch it when you press Alt S, because you could like cause like a situation. So let's get back in here, and we just unwrap, and these UVs are looking better at least. I'll call my mom and tell her about those UVs later. I gotta stop making that joke. Secret sadness in the heart. No, I'm kidding. You have no time for such things, guys. Like, look, I am so ruthless about death, because in my life, everybody I know, they literally get held up by it, but for inordinate amounts of time. Like, they're just like, yo, I'm not over this death. I'm like, dude, that person has turned to dust, bro. I'm sorry, but they have turned to atoms. So because they're atoms, I have resigned myself to move on. And of course, I sound like a freaking monster, right? But what are these freaking UVs? Like, look, if I walked away accepting these UVs, these UVs are actually atrocious. Like, Blender, look, if you're watching, which you're not, cancel. So cancel means you don't have to pay attention to anything I'm saying. Look, these UVs that I was looking at just a moment ago were just I don't know UVs, but I know what Satan looks like, and those UVs were not looking good. All right, and I love clicking it and just seeing the UVs pop up. It's just so beautiful to me. I know it's the small things, like it's the small stupid things to me that make me happy, and that's just me in 3D. Like, look, if I lost my ability to do 3D, which, 3D is like, to me, I look at it like it's a burning candle, right? Because the longer you're at the computer, the more you are sacrificing things you probably aren't even fully aware of, like your vision. Like me, I used to be able to see so good. I used to have the eyes of a hawk, and now I have the eyes of like a pigeon. All right, like I just can't see that good, and it's just terrible, guys. Like, and I have to wear glasses, and glasses are like distractions to me. Like, and you're like, yo, well, just get contacts, yo. I am not gonna touch my eyeballs. That is freaking scary. I'm not gonna touch my eyeballs. I will never touch my. You think people just? I don't run around touching my eyeballs. I don't touch my eyeballs. Okay, that's the secret to keeping eyeballs in my life. Look, I'm not very. Look, if I break iPads and I drop tablets all the time, you think I want to touch my eyeballs just to see better? No, I would rather see it slightly worse and not touch my eyeballs. Like, be getting pink eye? No. Look, it's important to keep your eyes safe. All right. So I got like computer glasses, and I mean, look, that's stupid. I look like zero cool at the computer. So, that's just not going to work out either. So, we're just dashing through this thing. We're just talking about eyeglasses. Look, if you're wearing eyeglasses and you're cool with it, that's cool. Look, I love eyeglasses. I'm always complimenting my friends on their eyeglasses because they look smarter. They look smarter. I'm like, hey, are you using Blender? They're like, no. I'm like, dumbass. I've been telling you for years. So, and there's certain people who are watching this video that actually get those jokes. Like, I'm not being rude. They're just to people I know IRL. Like, there's so many IRL jokes hitting in these videos where, if I just like, I'm just a weirdo. I just assume that the people I know are watching this when they're like, hey, why aren't you hanging out with me? There's a program called Blender. How well do you know me? There's this program called Blender. It's quite a riot, alright? What do you do in it? Oh, it's totally boring stuff. It's like literally calculating numbers, but hear me out. It is fun. What's not fun is what I'm getting here, but you know what? We are just going to question life itself. We are going to question how we assembled this. So I'm going to just flow out. We're going to grab this loop. And flowing out isn't a bad thing. It's just a bad thing if you say it around your spouse. You're like, hey, I got to flow out. She's like, you know what? I'm packing my bags. That's bad. All right. Don't let that happen to you. I'm just kidding. I actually have a great relationship because I gave up all power to her. That's the secret to a happy relationship. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta look at the writing on the wall and just say, hey, you're the captain now. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. I am the captain. I'm like literally a control freak. Sort of. I don't even really care about control. I just care about the thing being accomplished. So, I mean, even at the end of every goal, I'm like, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the enjoyment of the thing. All that matters is that we accomplished it. We accomplished it, and that matters above all. But besides glory, glory's great. Glory is so great, but who cares about glory when you actually did the thing, and the thing literally didn't exist before now, and now it exists. Like, I love that. That's an experience that I'm addicted to when it comes to tools. Like, I'm addicted to things existing that previously did not. And you're like, yo, but these things are stupid and derivative, and they totally exist. Like, yeah, but also they exist. They exist, and it's like, what's that even mean? They just exist. That's all. I just want a bunch of things to exist. Like, when I'm modeling, I'm like, I sure wish this thing existed. That's it. Like, hopefully over the course of these videos, you're like, whoa, MX models a lot. MX is always working. Get the same work ethic. Look, if you suck, you need to hit the mines. We call it the asset mines. And look, this content's going to transition into me showing you guys, like, hey, hit the mines. Hit the mines. Mines. You, what are your skills? My skills are nothing, sir. Mines. Hit the mines. You are in the mines. Get together. Like, when I was working in a call center, the whole time I was like, trying to prove my worth to them, right? But they were a crazy in crowd, so they were like, "Hey, can you get up out of our face?" You know, when I worked at Fleshlight, literally the sex company, I tried to tell them, I'm like, "Hey, I got some ideas, man." I drew them on paper. They were like, "Can you get out of here and go like pack boxes? You stink." I'm like, "But I stink because I work here and I'm working hard." Like, look, opportunity is about like the human spirit. Like, you know, people look at me and they're like, "Yo, you're crazy about opportunity." I'm like, if you don't seek opportunity, you will die. All right, and I'm not being funny. Like, people are like, "Yo, I love your material." The part where I'm talking about you literally dying if you don't get it together in this world. Like, look, the machines are taking away the jobs I thought I was going to go do excellently. I was like, yo, if this blender thing don't work out, boy, I'm going to become the best restroom cleaner you've ever seen. I'm going to just literally just destroy bathrooms. Like, not in a way that you're probably destroying bathrooms, but just literally, like, I will go and clean them up very good. They will keep me around. They'll be like, wow, that MX guy, potty master. And I'll be like, ah, yeah, I earned my title back, guys. And then I'll make another YouTube channel. I'll be like, I'm MX again, guys. Be like, MX of what? MX of toilets. It doesn't matter. Sit upon my throne and despair. For my job was taken by AI. Got to throw it in there. Just always look. Both of these systems are kind of atrocious. This is why I was planning on doing a RISM blind run, just being funny, because I think like just having a go at it would just show me kind of what's looking like in the world of UVs, because Blender has always been kind of a ponder. You know, and also, where's Control P at? Where's Control P at? Don't be playing around, Blender. Where's the Control P? Look, pack. Where's pack? Pack's so bad they don't pack anymore. Hey, let me find out that y'all stop packing. Pack islands right here. So just Control P. What is Control P? Control P just doesn't do nothing. Well, thanks a lot for that, I guess. Control P. Let's try it. Control P. Pack islands. Pack. And looks like we now are waiting on a window to go through a thing. And I don't know why this is so big. Like, isn't this like one of these like center holes or something? And we want to do the thing where Blender's selection lines up. So something like that. And then okay, so these circles are big AF and they are like worthless. Alright, so let's unwrap that again. And this time we will alt assign a material, and now we have something a little more right. But we're of course going to go through and fine tune these UVs. We're just kind of speed running just this initial version of UVing, because UVing is just one of those things like if you look at every aspect of 3D and you're like, man, I hate it. hey, first of all, look, you want to get in on toilet cleaning now, because it's going to go away. Like, the robots are cleaning these toilets hard. They're going to be going in a restroom just spinning with a broom, just spinning. How do we compete with that? There's a part that isn't making a connection here. A few more seams needed. All right, now we got it. Let's and what's crazy is that this freaking works, because these aren't like planned things. Like, this is just accidental. And don't let me be twisted and say like I am brilliant, because I'm freaking not. Alright, what I'm trying to do now is look at the future, look at now, and try to meet it before it meets me, because I'm always left behind by everything. And if I have any benefit in life, then let me try to get ahead of the future one time, right? Like, and this is just part of it. This is just part of getting ahead of what I see in the future. For me, I see a future of not being able to work as good with my hands, and so I'm going to need a system that's able to interface with my eyeballs. And so having some sort of simplified ocular based like thing is probably going to be the future, because I mean, headsets are going to get lighter, and I mean, You don't put $50 billion into something and then just don't accomplish anything. So I keep a close eye on Facebook, even though they're scary and I don't like them and their platform is scary and all of that, like blah blah, scary, 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 fear talk. Um, Zuck is also readable, at least at this time, and he's saying some things that indicate that he's going to be in it for the long haul as far as VR goes. And I'm also rooting for Steam. Like when you're talking about opportunities out there, like, look, Steam is like my favorite when it comes to pointing at as far as companies doing good. Just because Steam is just, they're good old, but, Steam also, I could also, there's also cases where they possibly deserve a side eye, but I do also love Steam. Like, Steam has the most rapid and organic refund system I've ever seen, and I just love it. Completely automated, requires no man, and is able to be just maximized to the benefit of everyone involved. At least as far as I see. I mean, I'm sure that cancel culture impacts it quite a bit when it comes to success metrics, and also, what was I doing right here? All right, you don't walk past these sort of things, but let's see. We are looking for our nflow tab, Jesus, and we're just going to go with topo tool. And we want to turn off project. Like, we do not want project. Someone's like asking me why things get weird. And we want to go to our connect config. And keep in mind, this config is made for retopology, but it's also just a way to just get used to the best of topo tool. Let's control right click to analyze. And we are analyzing now. Analyzing tonight on Fox. Analyzing's over. We are going back over to UV. I mean, we're just having fun. It's 7:06 now. Look, the cats hold me hostage, guys. Look, they're the ones who made me make this tool. If I can be frank, the cats forced me to do it. Like, I didn't want to make this tool, but the cats were like, hey, what do you mean we're going to run out of fancy fees? I was like, yeah, you're going to run out of fancy fees. They're like, hey. And look, keep in mind, they talk in a form of morals, all right? But, yeah. The cats told me. They were like, hey, look, we'll cuddle. Like, my cat started off being afraid of me, and then now she is, like, become, like, my best friend. And because of that, it's quite funny, because, it's, like, weird to see me with a cat. It's just funny to have a cat, because I'm just not a human. I mean, I try to be. I try my best, guys. Like, I wear the suits. I wear the human clothes. I eat the human food. I talk about human jokes with the human guys around the ice cooler. And I just literally use some alien-looking UVs, and I'm just going to move on, hating myself later. All right. But I want to be done with this initial UVing, and then move on to, maybe fine UVing it. And really, all I'm doing is just trying to establish what is the kind of meta of these workflows. Like, how do we work? So, like, if people are like, hey, there's a wiki page on how you should work and do this now, and you suck, please let me know. Because I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to waste y'all's time. Time's valuable. But I see that, we are straying away from God's light, all right, if I may be so Christian. I'm totally not Christian, all right? Do not call me a Christian. I am very afraid of that religion. Save that rant for another video when I'm 4 hours in. We'll talk about funny Christian stuff that should scare you, like rivers of blood. But for now, no rivers of blood today. I think it's the most metal thing ever, though. Just so metal, guys. Like, also, when I get to this end part, like, how am I going to UV that? Probably easy AF, and people are like, why UV? Why not just drop it in the substance, let them UV? It's like, I would say something less good that people would want to hear, but, people tell me that such things are wrong to say. And they're probably right. It probably is very wrong to say, but hey, there's a reason we get in here and we UV. I don't remember anymore, but we used to UV. Also, really, what are we looking at here? I mean, maybe that's what they are in relation to the rest of this. And we're just trying to see how straight we can get it, so we're just jumping back and forth. I keep wanting to basically assign a material the old way, which is still great. Not saying we're replacing it, just saying that we're experimenting with all sorts of different ways to interface differently whenever it comes to Blender. Like if Blender wants to annihilate us, it'll be very easy. All they have to do is just assimilate it. Just make it a little system. Make it a little assignment system. Good old good time. Solve it. Solve it once and for all. Make it just user accessible. We're just trying to show what we think it would be. And I keep telling you guys, I'm an idiot. I don't even write plans. I mean, I do. I don't write good plans. That's what I mean. But yeah, no, I write so many plans. Like, that's my day, is writing plans. Like, I realized that in my role, that is my job, is to write plans and present plans and to ask people, hey, can you do this plan? And for them to say, no to that plan. All right. Hey, who wrote this plan? They're going to need to be taken before a tribunal. All right. It's like, oh, I don't know who wrote this plan. Not me. All right, and we do want to have some sort of edge go down here. And using this configuration, just real simple on my right hand. Just real simple. But I don't know how I'll be able to explain that to other people, guys. Like, I'll never be able to say, like, hey, this is why this is like freaking crazy amazing. Just to me. Like, I'm often told that I often only care about things myself. Like, it's just me, alone, party of one, loving things. Let's try unwrapping this again. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. Like, I mean, what? Why is that so long? I mean, look, that thing's built to be all the way across the UV. Let's apply the scale. Alright, and that's more realistic. I mean, dang, this whole thing is scale unapplied. Look, I should probably deal with that, alright? Sorry about that. I'm just screwing up here, guys. I'm going to just apply scale. Cannot be. We will apply scale just as we go. You know, we could make nflow apply scale as we go. First we apply scale. I mean, we could be looking at what our scale is, but what was the last thing we had selected? What are we working on? This thing. So we're working on that. We just want to make sure that we are applying our mirror as we're moving along, because I don't want a bunch of residual mirrors. And also, we're going to have to make things single user data. I see that, you know, Blender's going to get weird with that. So let's just take this in local mode. And what UVs we got? Well, those are UVs that a mother could love, because a mother wouldn't know what the F she was looking at, all right? My mother wouldn't. She'd be like, what is that? Be like, why would you do that to a vase? Be like, but I was able to send it to in a manila envelope, Mom. But she'd be like, I'd never be able to put this together again. You know, once you put an unwrapped asset in an envelope, you can't ever, you know, unwrap it again. But that's just me having a little UV humor. Sorry. Also, I'm thinking about what I want for breakfast. I'm probably just going to cook breakfast, guys. Like, I am addicted to the accomplishment of making breakfast. Like, look, I'm not saying I make the best breakfast. I'm just saying I make breakfast. And, you know, in this house, breakfast must be made. Sometimes I go to full Monty and I'll make a grand slam with like pancakes and everything, but it requires a lot of dexterity to make breakfast. Like, that's one of the things I find interesting about making breakfast is that, and also cooking in general, is that, you know, these are tasks that are gender based and forced, but, you know, they are more difficult. They're difficult for me, and I'm not saying I'm like a savant or anything, like I should be good at it, but it is hard. It is hard to cook. I mean, and you know, I put like crazy criteria on myself, right? Like, I'm like, cook all of breakfast using one pan because I hate dishes. And also, you know what, we're just going to flow out. I'm going to select this, J that, get rid of that. I mean, I was about to just dissolve the edge, but it's like, yo, what would that accomplish? Wouldn't that be actually technically stupider? I mean, over here, I'm looking at this. I already know I'm making regrettable choices here, but you know what was more regrettable was what I was looking at before. That is, hey, come on, we're not hacks here. I always talk about how if you're gonna cut corners where no one can see, like right there. That's like one of those moments that matters. Another thing that matters is context clues. Having strong context clues will help you in life. I'm not saying I have the strongest context clues, but I am obsessed with context clues. For example, I was driving past someone yesterday after getting breakfast, and their car. At first, I noticed a car with its hazard lights on, right, and then I noticed a guy on a street corner waving his hat and looking distressed. Now, context clues tells me in this town that this one time it's not a crazy homeless man. All right, this one time. So I was able to pull over and say, "Yo, you need help, bro?" And he did, of course, the Texan thing of saying, "No, I do not," after looking at me, which is just a. I'm on my way home with breakfast, so thank you for respecting my meal plans. But you know, if you would have said, "Hey, can you open the hood of your car and let me, I don't know, do stuff with your battery?" I'd been like, really? Like, I went through a thing recently where I had to, I killed someone's battery because they parked their car here at my place. And they were like, "Yeah, can you do it with my car?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I forgot to turn their car off because it was like a super quiet car. They come back from vacation, their freaking car's dead. I'm like, "Yeah, my bad. What do I do? I don't have those cables. And I don't want to plug those up to my car. You know, it'll be unsightly, alright? So, there's only one way to resolve this thing, right? You go to the store and you get a already charged thing to jump their car back to life because, you know, you can't touch my car. Like, I'll visit people and they're like, "What kind of engine you got?" I'm like, "Dude, why are you asking that? Dude, you just look at the outside. Just look at the outside. What do you mean what's on the inside? I don't know." It's just funny because I'm totally not a car person, but I have so many experiences of people forcing me to endure car activities with them. Like, they're like, "Yo, I got to repair my car." I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm over here, so what you got to do?" They're like, "I got to drop the..." It's like, Jesus, dude, really? Dude, you can't just pay someone to do that? But no, everybody gets fulfillment out of doing something themselves. So where this very long meandering story comes back to is getting in there and doing it yourself. There's a sense of accomplishment that comes with it, and even if it's something small, just God, I'm not going to rotate these manually. I'm over here talking about doing something small to make a meaningful impact on your day, saying I'm not going to rotate single things. Look at me just being contradictory. But look, a day is a series of small battles, and we got to win those battles to build the confidence that it takes to accomplish modeling. And that's what I've been working on the side is that, you know, the world is setting us up to basically be losers, guys. Like, we'll be losers and we'll be incapable of like rebuilding the ingenuity to pull ourselves out of ruts. And so as a result, I see like another hole in the world that I'm curious in. You know, I refer to things that I can possibly fix or alleviate or assist in some way as holes. Like, hey, this hole speaks to me. I mean, I shouldn't say that because these things sound possibly erotic, and I don't mean it that way. Um, that's why it's funny because I don't even mean it that way, but it happens. And people tell me that all the time. They're like, "Hey, what you just said, very sus." I'm like, "Really? What about the point I was making, though? Did you hear the point I was making? What about the point I was making?" You know, people get caught up on the wrong thing of a sentence. Means you can just fit anything into a sentence, right? If that's the case. And I'm just looking at this thinking, how am I going to grab both of these? I didn't put shift on face grabbing, but I see that I probably should if I'm going to create the ultimate setup. So I'm just trying to grab that, make it the same, come back out, and you know, no diddy, and let's just unwrap this and see what that UV display looks like. And our snow cone at the top, or not a snow cone, our kaleidoscope. Sorry, wrong shape in mine. And what we want to do is take this into isolation and hide everything else. And from here, we are just marking. Hey, I seriously would not mind stopping this video. Not because of the tool, but because I hate UVing. Like, I just hate UVing. It's like my least favorite part of the process. So I see why I would skip it as a tutorial maker. Like, I would be like, oh yeah, let's not UV, guys. I mean, also, someone will say in the comments, UVing's dead. It's been replaced by Auto UV Pro Plus Mac Daddy. Daddy UV job taker 9000. Look, people worry about AI wholesale taking your jobs, but look, we've given them up slowly, one by one, with like acquiescing various levels of automation to systems that are now commonplace now. Like, you know, I see all these arguments between anti-AI and AI. Like, I'm part of all the groups. Like, I love it. That's my morning coffee, is reading discourse. Like, if people are disagreeing and expressing their views, first of all, I'm reading you. Second of all, AI is reading you. You know, that's why the dead internet theory is going to come true, is because people are going to realize, like, hey, why be online? Why be online if we're just being scraped? And we're being scraped good. Like, you know, these systems, like the AI is so good, but it's not so good, right? The scrapers, though, hey, they figured out scrapers a long time ago. They're figuring out scrapers so good that, you know, they don't even got to worry about it no more. Like, they only got to scrape us once, and then it's over. And that's what's happening. Like, we've already been scraped. Like, our best work was when we thought that there was nothing happening out there. Now that there is, it's going to be. I'm not even planning on updating my portfolio unless I'm probably going to update my portfolio. But, you know, me doing that is vanity. It's vanity, literally. It's vanity, because I know about the implications. It's like being on Facebook. It's like, you know about Facebook, but you're still on Facebook. It's like, yeah, I do, because business purposes. Like, the world is so weird. It's so weird. And I'm not even saying that in a bad way, like we're all hypocrites, but I mean, we have to exist in the world. We have to exist. Like, I have friends who have just disappeared from Facebook, and it's like they died. You just gotta make the right call. Like, one day I'm gonna have to make that call. Just disappearing from the internet of scrapability, because, you know, I'm telling them about my pizza I'm eating, but they're also getting, you know, my metadata. Like, a photo is bigger than a song, and I think a song carries so much more info than a photo or an image. But, you know, that's something that can be argued amongst yourselves. But an image carries so much information. In fact, my images have little sound bites of what's going on in the moment, and I'm just looking at this center and just thinking, did my mama raise me that way, to serial kill nuts to look like this? You know what? I'm going to at least reduce it by half. So we'll go with this, and we'll remove that. And that can work a little better, even though we can probably... and the computer's giving me errors again. Like, all I want to do, guys, is work forever. Like, I'm telling you, one day I'm going to do the longest video ever did concurrently. Like, I'm going to try to do it live. I don't know, maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll just literally die of modeling, right? Like, what if my tool sucks so bad I died? That would be hilarious. So let's just Control P. We'll pack this with our Control P hotkey. And we don't do anything over here with UVs with nflow so far, because, like I said, it's cats, guys. Like, it's crazy. We will get murdered and eviscerated by UV guys. Like, they hate us. They don't want to see us. See us coming. It would be terrible. Rivers of blood. All right. And I'm just making jokes, of course. This is just me throwing out some little 3D comedy. I just noticed that whenever that thing happened with Rism that they were pretty passionate about. It's like, ooh. And of course, you got to be passionate, but I do react to being honored by other software a lot differently. Like, I'm like, hey, these guys honored me. Like, that's what I call it. Like, hey, they've honored me. Like, they've validated this idea through their acceptance. And I mean, that's really what my goal is to just be accepted, to set a standard, to make something lasting. So let us just unwrap where UV displaying. And God, who unwraps with that many freaking UVs? All right, Jesus, what are these? All right, do they have backs? And they do. All right, so we probably don't need backs. And are these real? No. All right, so let's get rid of these. And we are just Alt 4, nflow, unmark, unwrap, and something like that is a little bit better. And we'll just slap the material on that too. And of course, something like this, working so long, hard on the body, taking breaks and stepping away. Always take breaks, guys. I can't even begin to tell you why you should be taking breaks, but if you don't know, just take breaks, guys. Step away from the canvas. 3D is not worth dying over, all right? And I say that to you, and I say that to myself, that, you know, we got things that are worth preserving, all right? Like, our health is required to be good modelers, and I'm not even saying that as a Chad bro. I'm not trying to get built, guys. Like, I don't want guys to look at me and think I could take him, because that would be bad. All right. Well, I want them to. I want them to think they can take me. All right. I don't want them to have anything to think about me at all. Like, I'm trying to be a nondescript person. Like, I'm not trying to basically look like I'm tough or look like I'm not tough. But like, if people start running, I need to be at the front. All right. That's all I'm saying. So look, we now are at the end part of this video. We have accomplished this. But yeah, get fit, get running. Look, I also need my arms to be strong, so that way, all right, so basically I crashed basically the 3D mouse earlier because I was just being random on the computer, and like my computer's having a malfunction. But because of that, I'm still going to use the 3D mouse in order to navigate around the scene, because hey, you can't stop me. And you know, we see one part down here that we didn't do, so we're going to have to also attack this bullet. And also, look, we saw another part we didn't do. Look at us, sneaky, trying to end the tutorial early. Look, that is half-assery right there. If I've ever seen it ever in my life. You're gonna have to drop down and give me 40. All right. And also, all these subdivisions showing in edit mode, hate it. So I don't even know which one to go with, but we are just kind of just gonna get through this. And for this one, of course, I'll remove the music just because, you know, I managed to talk this whole thing and I wasn't exhausted. Like, I love being able to do these videos whenever I'm not exhausted. Like, I hate it when I'm tired, guys. I feel like I give the worst performances when I'm tired, and you guys probably don't care. Y'all are just happy that I'm here, but look, I do care about the quality of my level of performances. I'm trying to get picked up by Netflix, guys. Like, look, with my bull, my problems. Coming soon to Netflix. Just kidding. I'm just, hey. I'm looking at this. Should I just cut the tip off? Hey. I would make a joke about that. Where is the ability to isolate this? Look, we just need to isolate this so we can select this and add a seam. And I need some water, all right? Definitely need some water so early in the morning. And to anyone who watches these all the way through, I get people who are like, yo, you're just hanging out with me when I'm modeling. It's like just having someone who's talking the whole time I'm working. I'm like, all right, dude, there's a market for that, dude. I'm like a Bonzi buddy, dude. And, you know, Bonzi buddy was everybody's buddy. It was America's Bonzi. He used to just swing out and just help people. You know, and the world could, this, UV is actually so terrible. That's why I'm still here. And that is even worse. So it's like, why would this cone piece be so bad? Why would it just be so bad? Like, dude, this is so bad that I can't let it go. Like, look at this. This is like not acceptable. So back in the day, I used to grab a seam and grab a line, and I would be like SY, and maybe not that line. Wait, really? The line's right in the middle? What the heck's going on with this UV? Now I gotta really think about this. Alright, so we could just put a line here, mark it around, and we get 2, so we only have to really manage the top here now. The cats are rubbing against my leg. I never mess with these options just because, like, I never even think about them. Like, I just approach UV so basic. I do know I need that to be, like, a set of squares, but, I mean, this is just so icky. You know, we are getting hung up on pedantics, which is a common thing for me. So we will just hit it with the material and not love those UVs at all. But it is a bullet after all. And I will add another 30 minutes just being obsessive with nothing. So we got this piece. So, ow, bit my tongue again. Terrible. We will alt-click, control-click in order to mark it. We'll select this, control-click mark. Hey, I'm watching Nomon, and there's so many videos where they're just doing these tasks like so manually, guys. And watch, it would be crazy if I start looking on there and everybody just immediately is using nflow, because I think the more professional you are, the more you'll see the value in it. Like, I mean, everyone who's just jumping onto it and they're like, hey, I'm just getting into it for the first time along with your tools. I'm like, dang it, man, these guys aren't going to get me, man. They're not going to get me. They're going to think I'm a weirdo. This is where weirdo comes from. Like, people are like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? It's like, what's wrong with this guy? Modeling's what's wrong with me, guys. Like, what's wrong with this guy? I make modeling tools, and modeling's what's wrong with me. Like, yes, it drives me insane. Like, it drives me insane. It makes me inflammatory, but that's modeling. Modeling does that because modeling's freaking hard, guys. Like, it's not hard, it's just challenging. And if you don't have a affinity for challenge, then you're not going to get very far in life. Like, look, we're getting in here and we're having fun. Just fun is just weirdly defined by me. And I'm looking at this and object data, you unwrap, and that is better in my eyes, instead of having a ring along the side to just take up more density. And whatever's happening in here, it's got to go. I don't know what's going on there. We're probably going to have to re-put screws in all these areas to just make sure. And we could do that right now. You know, even though I'm biting my tongue in videos early in the morning because I'm talking too much and I'm an idiot, thinking about candy still. Hey, if someone adds to the candy budget, I will be able to do more content. Be like, this is for MX's candy. Just playing. I should stop eating candy. Like, once I'm done with the candy, I'll move on to the next thing. Like, I just got really mad at that convenience store because they were just doing me so bad, guys. And they talk to me all the time. They're like, hello, my friend. It's like, dude, candy bars for two for $5. Like, I don't even remember what it was anymore. But I just remember how it made me feel. Made me feel not good. Alright? So don't let your convenience stores extract additional value out of you by being too convenient while not offering enough as a store, you know? Because they never helped me when it came to my girl problems. Like, it's like, yo, my woman hates me. He's like, thank you, come again. Alright, so we are going to go and full screen. And now we can have fun. I have a Wacom on the table in the weirdest way. So that's why I'm always jerking around. Like, I have peripherals. I have too many peripherals on my desk. So we are just looking at what we have. Look at this. You ever just went up in a sorry, I don't know gun terms. I'm so not that kind of guy. Like, look, you come in my house, I'm just going to shoot you with the pointy part, all right? I'm not going to be accurate with the gun like that. But we're just looking at what we have for just kind of our preliminary UVs. I mean, to me, I'm like looking at the most inconsistent, terrible UVs ever. And there used to be a really cool plugin back in the day that would take a mesh in edit mode, everything, probably replaced by Blender itself. That's how things go now. And let's look at this. So we have this one thing. Hey guys, you know what that is? That is a commercial of the tool. I mean, really, I just went in, used a quick config to just do a UV. In Zen mode, right, my brain's turned off. You know, sometimes y'all catch me with my brain turned off, and that's like the funniest part of videos in my opinion. Like, I'm trying to really relate with you guys, like, instead of being faker. Like, I could easily be faker because being fake is so easy, like, but what's not fake is just telling y'all, like, hey, it's real out here. It's real out here. It's real out here for everyone. And all I get all day are horror stories like, hey, guy, I lost my job. What should I do? Hey, did this happen to me. What should I do? Hey, I'm in this circumstance. What should I do? It's like, I'm not a freaking... And the only reason people would ask me is because I've, for years, said, like, hey, opportunities out there, opportunities here, opportunities there, opportunities here, opportunities there. And I sound like a crazy person, but we must explore these opportunities. Like, if you're getting owl pellets, get to selling them on Amazon. Compete with a little 8-year-old girl. You know what's crazy is there's like a kid who created like a, I think like a lemonade that like the money goes to the homeless just because, I gotta get these stories actually in a row before I start telling you about them. But there's just so many cases in the world where people have just noticed just very small problems and solved them. You know, another sector that's very hot when it comes to people and solutions, I think, is babies. People really just love babies. They love their babies. They want to give their babies the best. So anything for babies is often good. That's why the Chinese are giving our babies lead paint and weird chemicals. But look, they're going to kill us with 8,000 years of degenerating technology. All right. But that's like a weird thing we talk about in a video while we're going over this. But, you know, once you recognize all these patterns happening, you're like, well, they're extracting our wealth while also poisoning us at the same time. And I'm not even saying that as a conspiracy theorist. I'm saying, like, there's like fake eggs in the market. They're also poisoning each other and themselves. Like, it's a race to the bottom because, you know, it's the world that we live in. And this ties into 3D and the momentum with modeling and how to get through and finish the job and all of that. So, you know, sorry to cycle into a depressing view, but really the moral of the story is there's sectors in the world that are hot that are worth thinking about. Like, Furio Tedeschi once said, if you are modeling chairs, don't be surprised if you find yourself hired modeling chairs. So, you know, find what it is that you want to do. Become an absolute master at it. Become the master of it and become the top of the field in that thing. Like, I'm not the top of the field in anything except talking out of my butt and making subpar tools, but you could basically be more. You could be more, and you should try to be more in this only life that we have. Because look, I don't think God's going to let us like do stuff in the afterlife. From the sounds of the Bible, it sounds like he wants us to sing, and that's it. Like, no 3D modeling, no computer lab, no nothing. Satan's offering all that stuff, but he got a bad reputation on Earth. Never mind. It'd be crazy if this video turned into me endorsing Satan. I'm just having fun here as I'm going around this mesh and this UVs. Like, I don't know. I have fun in weird ways in 3D. When I can do this on iPad, I will be able to model more on iPad. But I love this particular Space Mouse. Like, I have like all the variations, even the little ones. The little ones are even better, which is why I recommend them, because all you need is the will to go around your 3D viewport in this way. Like the buttons are cool too, but you don't really need them. There's buttons on everything. Everything has actually too many buttons, adding to peripherals. So sometimes you just got to be simple. Model with a good old Microsoft IntelliMouse. Just kidding. I'm not. I'm using a Rival 500 by SteelSeries. It has like 5 buttons on it, but it is a work of art, and I love that mouse. So look, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Thank everyone for watching, and then when I come back, we'll get these UVs a little more correct, UV proper, and just stop goofing off and finally get this thing ready for export. But you see that the journey here is a long and arduous journey, especially if you rotate around the viewport like a madman, just talking about China and fake eggs. Not that I've eaten fake eggs from China or anything, but you do got to check your eggs, guys. Anyways, check your eggs, Master Xeon. I mean MX2, over and out. Sorry.